Well, now I'd like to turn to the regular parts of our show, the build alongs. This one is going to be with Kershaw Model Works and Mr. Reeves and Mr. Brookfield, MMR, are here this evening to talk about the kit and the build along process. So, gentlemen, I will turn it over to you, and thank you so much for being here this evening.
Appreciate the opportunity to come. The build along is going to be one of Kershaw Craftsman kits. It's Stanczak's bar. It's a repurposed building, probably not intended to be a bar to begin with, but it is the design is fairly simple, 4 walls. What is unique about this is the door, the front end, if you will, is in the corner, diagonally set up. And that also posed a few issues with the build that is in the instructions and all that kind of stuff. So, but we got a special price on this with a particular code. So I'm excited about this. I'm also interested to hear from Martin. I know that I sent him the kit. I love his feedback about this and get his comments on this.
Okay, so I've got a few slides just to get us started on this so people will know what we're talking about. If I can get my share screen to work. So just to reiterate what Paul had here, this is what we're building. So it's a little fuzzy, but that's the best picture I could steal off the websites. And as he said, the interesting thing which caught my eye was this corner entry. Not too many corner entries in structures, and certainly not in too many kits. It actually reminds me of a church that I know of up in Fannettsburg, Pennsylvania, that has a corner entry. I've never seen such a thing before. So it makes for an interesting challenge as well as an interesting look on the building. There's the back, has a little bump out here, which we'll get to in a week or next month sometime when I get to the build. So there are your instructions. That's what it looks like. You get all these lovely parts. You've got some roofing up here. We got a bag of wood, other miscellaneous parts, some signage, separate bags for separate windows and stuff, which makes it easy to find what you're looking for. But half the time, all this stuff is jumbled in one bag and you got to sort it out yourself. So not having to sort it out's a positive thing to, some of us need all the help we can get to figure out which door is which door and which window is which window. But I think the openings are such that you probably can't get it wrong. Watch me try to live up to that. So here's what you're going to need. Well, you need a work surface. I like glass. I've said this a few thousand times. This is just an extra piece of glass. It's out of a medicine cabinet that I salvaged, but I saved the glass because it gives you a nice short little piece that you can do small stuff on for like painting and stuff. This is just about a 30 by 20, 24-inch piece of glass on top of a piece of carpet foam. So you have a nice flat surface. So that's particularly useful to align walls when you're assembling kits as you build them. Nice level surface. Fun tools. Oh, well, lots of scalpels. Yeah, well, we'll operate. Yeah, I did a little of that today on myself. There was some blood. I survived. A nice small steel ruler. Comes in handy for cutting small things as opposed to the big long ruler. One razor saw, nice square, one of many tweezers, some surgical scissors just in case you need to cut off the suture from sewing up your cut finger, some sanding tools, a stick, a sanding sponge, weights. I like having lots of weights. Right angle, useful. Cutting block. Nice to have a small hunk of oak to cut against when you're cutting stuff up, as opposed to trying to work on all other types of surfaces. Adhesives. I'm a fan of glue. It's old school stuff, but when you make it work, it's hard to replace it. Clamps, you can never have enough clamps. I probably have 20 or 30 of them laying around the shop at any given moment. I like the medium viscosity CA. You can get thin, you can get thick, you can get goo, gels. I like the thin stuff, but I also like putting one of these real fine tips on the top of it so you can actually see the flow of your CA and control it. It's about 1/10 of a millimeter aperture on the ID. And some tight bond glue. This is a right interesting bottle to have because it has a siphon feed from the bottom of the bottle. So you don't have to pick it up and turn it over. You can just squeeze it upright and it will pop out the top, and you can pull off as much as you need onto a little stick or a pin or whatever you want to apply your glue with. These are actually very useful to have. When I bought it, I had no idea what it was. I just thought, oh, that's an interesting bottle. I'll find a use for it someday. And I suddenly realized this is really great for controlling the flow of carpenter's glue or tight bond. And that's where I'm going to stop because you got some thinking, reviewing, considering what you got in the box when you get to it, and the tools you need, and we'll get started on it. It's pretty straightforward. As Paul said, it's basically a square rectangular building that's been repurposed. It goes together fairly straightforwardly. The one little challenge is that corner door, which we'll talk about that when it comes time to do it, because I deviated a bit from the instructions and did a little improvising. And I'm going to do a lot of other improvising as to bracing and floors and interior walls, just to make it a little more entertaining for me. None of that's required, but we'll have fun with it anyhow. And I'm going to stop right there.